Hello and welcome to Veil of Death MTG. Today I bring you another fun tech option for your consideration, namely the Ancient One, aka my Gravemind deck. And why do I call it that? You all see Spirit God and I over here see Gravemind from installation 05, so I'm just built different. But let's look at our commander a little closer. The Ancient One, or as Scryfall called it Sleepy Sam, is a blue and a black legendary spirit god 8/8. Yes, all that ass for just 2 mana. Now the Ancient One has 2 important lines of text, one being Descent 8. The Ancient One can attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, and 2, for 2 and a blue and a black, so 4 mana, draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. On a side note, Descent is one of my new favorite lines of rules text, because who here does not love descending to Lamb of God? So besides our friend over here being a Dimir commander, so basically Oracle line is an auto-include in this build, we also got a second awesome use, well, because the Ancient One here is a great dramatic Scepter outlet. And I can hear some of you moaning and groaning that Scepter is outdated and not cool anymore, hyper cringe fest and so on and so on, but you know what? I still like it as a win con, same as I like my World Daddy Dragon Loops. World Daddy? What the hell is wrong with me? Remember, also for Scepter you need access to a minimum of 3 non-land mana to go infinite. With 2 mana you just make Infinite Storm. So yeah, Scepter is cool, Oracle is cool, but you can also put a Shuffle Titan into this deck, and when you go through the Ancient Loop, as I will call it, just mill out your opponents, or put a Dolphin into play and exile everything. The world is your oyster to do with as you please. Or is it? There are also some other fun things in the deck one can go nuts with, so let's take a look at some. Since we talked about the commander and the 2 main win lines, plus an optional third one, let's look at what the Gravemind is really hiding in the burrows of this ring. Just like always, we're going to use Moxfield for this and go from the bottom to the top. Land base is my favorite 28 Tainted Pact land base. If you got some snow basics, you can sprinkle them in here. As per usual, we got fetches, duels, shocks, filters. As we are also in 2 colors, we got 5 color lands and a little utility, like Otawara, Cephalic Colosseum, and Phyrexian Tower. The tower, you guys can keep in mind, we're gonna circle back to it in a minute or so. Outside of cool lands, we got some fun enchantments. Ristic and Mystic to help us draw some cards, Dress Down is a great interactive card, Training Ground makes our commander's ability a lot cheaper, we got Animate deck, cause yeah, with all the milling and looting, we're also a Reanimator deck. And who does not love a good Reanimator synergy? And finally, we got Necro, cause we got Born Upon a Wind, so why not? However, as some of you may attest, Necropotence has not been kind to me for the past few months and beyond, so if you are like me and have some bad luck with Necro, one recommendation is to be sure that to have Born Upon a Wind or Final Fortune, depending on the deck, in your hand before trying to go off. Sometimes your deck may just not provide. Let's get into the artifact side of the game, shall we? Obviously we got the rocks, the Moxen, the Scepter, the One Ring for draws. But what is this? Yes, I did have a calendar in this deck to playtest a little, but you all can literally toss it for anything. Even a Springleaf Drum will do. Actually, it would do nicely. And to answer the big question, why the Jewel Lotus since it does not help cast our commander the first time? Exactly, the first time. And I did promise I will come back to that Phyrexian Tower. We are borrowing a little, just a teensy bit from Dargo's tech on this one, because we got a huge 8/8 commander, and sometimes sacrificing it is the way. I mean, we also have Altar of the Wretched, which is almost as cool as the Cannibal Corpse album. As far as instants are concerned, we are a controlly ad nauseum deck, so we control the game to our liking, nulls at an opponent's end step. We got many counter spells, some special ones we do not get to see often, like Daze and Stubborn Denial. Thanks to our commander, it's always ferocious time. Drowned Lock is a fun multi-use spot that is a flex slot. We got Model to make sure you can find many a piece for one of our combos. Rituals, Consults, the Born I already talked about, and obviously Entomb, because I did mention we are a Reanimator deck. Speaking of that, we can go right into sorceries. Reanimate and Unearth are here along with Yawgmoth's Will to play stuff from our yard. Mean Betrayal for abusing opponents' yards, more tutors, a fun ponder, and yes, you are seeing correct, there is a Tendrils of Agony. Another personal inclusion because I just love that spell, but I also wanted to, spice it up a little with that Storm idea. We also have, Besiege the Mirror, other tutors, and a lot of other ways to kill the table, but Tendrils is one of my favorites and I don't get to play it as much as I want. It is a flex slot, so do with it what you want. Finally, we reach the creature portion of the deck tech. Oracle and Labman as win counts, Labman as a backup to Oracle since we do draw using our commander, Bowmaster to punish opponent's draw, Opposition Agent to hate and tutoring, Doffy for graveyard, Ledger Shredder to help us dig into the yard and help filter cards, Talion as a card draw and punish effect. Also, remember that Talion is a force draw, so be careful when you consult for that win. And again, finally to some borrowed Dargo tech, we have Ruthless Technomancer. Look, I know, it's not as good without a dock side, but we still have an 8/8 commander, and sometimes we just need that extra mana, or extra colors. And, we do love sacrificing our commanders for value. Why not? You can do whatever you want. As I mentioned before, the world is your oyster, as it is with this deck. And before we continue, I know there are many other Dimir options for Scepter outlets that maybe some other people prefer. And it's always a choice, but always like, that specific, something funny, something different, something, spicy. Now let's look at some opening hand examples, ignoring pot composition as always. Example 1 is a trap. All the interaction and no colored mana to use? Let's get rid of this one. Our second 7 in example 2 is let's get nuts. Depending on your top deck, you can basically turn one Necro for many cards, but you can also go tutor for maybe protection or born or more fast mana. It's not perfect, but it's a hand that can get you there. But will you risk it? In example 3, however, we have a ton of mana with nothing to do. Even Technomancer just makes us more mana, so I would shuffle this and try for something more, not just mana, and maybe you need tutors, interaction, ways to, progress your game plan instead of just, pivot and do nothing. And with that, we reach the end of our beautiful journey together here, at least for now, but we will meet again. Before we depart to see the stars, are there any questions from your side? Any interesting thoughts you want to share? Remember, the comment section below is open, and as always, you can find the deck list along with our cool links in the description box below. And with that, I will see you all behind the veil.